Hello everybody, it's June 23rd, 2023. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin here. First, what I said on Monday. Bitcoin had finally hit that sub 25K area to minimally call the correction down complete. And we laid out the path the bulls needed to take, which it did. It pushed up above that 26.8. And I said the ball's firmly in the bulls' court. It's theirs to lose. I was looking for a pullback into this zone. I don't think it quite hit that, so it was a little shallow. But obviously, we've seen some strong pumping now. And it is really indicating to me that, this could actually be the start of that larger bull trend. I hesitate to say all the way up to 100K. That kind of remains to be seen, but let me just go over kind of the more macro viewpoint here real quick. Let's zoom out. The problem with the action off the low here, off this 15.7 low, is that it's just three waves. This is an ABC, very clearly. That's not an impulse. And so the best case scenario for the bulls, what I have on here is my yellow scenario, is that it's forming a diagonal. And so now that we have maybe an indication that that is what's happening, I can put on some extra information. So we're going to do a fib extension here from the bottom to the end of 1 down to the end of what we're proposing is 2. Let me just make sure that's in the right place down here. Okay. So if that's 1 and that's 2 in a diagonal, 3 minimally should really hit about 58K, I would say. So this is going to be our 1, 2. I'll make this yellow and I'll make it larger, but let's just for now call this 3. It doesn't have to be 58. It could be 64. It could be 76. But it should be larger than 1, right? So it should be more than this 1.0, which is at 49.7. So I'm going to say minimally that 1, 2, 3, 6 for the entirety of that third wave. We'll probably get a big deep 4 that fits within that diagonal, and then a 5 up maybe to there. So let's change that to yellow. Super cycle, right? Super cycle, something like that. Alrighty. So that's kind of what we're looking for. It would take us back to that 69K area, and so to me that is really a pretty big question of what that actually means at that point. So I don't know that I actually expect this to be true. It's just kind of what might happen, basically. And this diagonal that I'm putting on here is not going to be in any way, shape, or form guaranteed until 3's in place, and then we can kind of get a bottom for where 4 might go. So we're just going to kind of have to wait on that. But generally, this is, since it started out as an ABC, there's 1, there's 2. We're going to see like A, B, C up in 3 probably. And what's happening here would have to be like 1 of A, basically. So it's going to be really choppy in the macro sense, if it's even doing this. And again, I'm not 100% convinced that it is. Alternatively, because this action here was ABC up, we could just be doing ABC somewhere into this region, like the 1.0 or slightly below, like maybe 42 to 49, and then go down from there. And that would be a W, X, Y. That'd be a corrective pattern, and then we would still see downside from there. So again, we are in no way guaranteed to see an actual new bull run here that's going to break new highs, but if we are, it's probably going to take the shape of this very choppy diagonal. So just be aware of that. Now, all of that being said, you know, in the more micro sense, we are looking like we're probably going to go ahead and continue upwards in some way, shape, or form, based on the action that we've seen off of this low. So we got that, you know, minimal, what we need to see, and now it looks like we're making 5 waves up. So let's zoom in here. All right, so when I said the ball was in the bull's court, I was looking at this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We were hoping for an ABC down, which we got. It was just a little shallow. I was looking for it to go just a little bit lower, 26.2 at a minimum. It got to 26.262, so I mean, it didn't really miss by much, but it did, you know, it was slightly shallow, right? But we have 5 waves up in 1, we have an ABC over in 2, and now it looks like we're working on 5 waves up. Actually, we have 5 waves up in 3, which I have marked here. This 3-4 is really shallow, but I think that works. So in the larger 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. This is ABC down, held nicely for 4 right there. And we should be heading up for 5. Now, it's possible that this is maybe the end of 3 there, and it gets like a larger ABC down, and then we go up for 5. So if it kind of fails and comes back down into this zone, it's not necessarily out of luck. But obviously it would be preferable if we saw it just kind of move up to this. This is the target area here, 31.975 to 32.7, give or take, is the target for 5. And it kind of looks like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's not an impulse anymore here. You know, we'd have to classify it as a diagonal, ending diagonal. But that's okay for the last wave of a move. But anyway, we should see this kind of move up here to that 32K area is what I'm looking for to end 5. Now, what should happen then, okay, and again, I say should because like here we had a really shallow 2. We could have another shallow 2 potentially, but I would hope after such an aggressive move up, let's say we hit that just 32K as a, you know, minimum target there. Once we get up here, we should then see a pullback back into this zone between 27 and 29. Basically, that's going to be the target there. Now, that's if it hits 32K. If it goes higher than that, you know, then I have to adjust that a little bit as well. So we'll kind of wait and see what the target is. But at some point here, we should have a pullback once these 5 waves up are complete. And once we do, it's likely going to be a pretty good buying opportunity, because even if, you know, that larger macro bull market is not happening, since we're getting 5 waves up, it's likely that we're going to go higher. You know, it could turn into just A, B, C, but it's still going to go higher, you know, 29 up to 39 or whatever. So there's an opportunity there for making some money, making some profit after this move completes and starts pulling back. Now, if it continues upwards and just kind of keeps trucking upwards without really any clear indication of what it's doing, then we're going to look more and more like this is just kind of ending that C wave, which I talked about, where anywhere between like 39 and 49 is kind of that danger area where it could just start dying and actually go back down to new lows. So again, the problem with that macro choppy picture is that it really doesn't give us a large amount of confidence in the larger picture. And that'll have to be my assumption if this just continues to push, right? So if it doesn't form a meaningful structure by actually pulling back, somewhere into this area before going up. There's really not much we can do about that. We just kind of have to continue waiting, and that's fine with me. I don't care. I'm here to make money off of Bitcoin, not because I want to own Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So it doesn't really matter to me whether I am in it or not when it's doing stuff. You know, if I have a good opportunity arise, then I take advantage of it, and that's pretty much all we can do. All right, so there we go. As long as we hit 32 and then pull back correctively, we should have a good buying opportunity. If we continue strongly through 32, you know, and start getting up higher into the high 30s without any pullbacks, it's actually probably bad news for the bulls in the longer run. And the real long run, I'm still not convinced, but maybe we've started a new bull trend. So yeah, all right, I think that pretty much sums it up. And we'll touch base again on Monday. We'll see what the action has brought over the weekend, and we will go from there. I will talk to you all then.